Greetings LEGO and D&D nerds, my name is Ian and welcome to Brick Bestiary, the show where I build D&D creatures out of LEGO bricks. And now the keen-eyed among you might be wondering why exactly I'm dressed in full chainmail, and the answer, of course, is because it's Dragon Week. Just in case you're out of the loop and missed the memo about this whole Dragon Week situation, let me fill you in. Dragon Week is a D&D community event put together by the legendary D&D YouTubers Ginny D and Pointy Hat. They have created this event to bring the D&D community closer together and uplift creators all across the platform. It started out last year with Kraken Week, and this year they've changed the Monster Week theme to dragons, which you know I'm in favor of because I love dragons. Who doesn't love dragons? I mean, seriously. Who doesn't love dragons? Now, we've certainly covered the occasional dragon before on this channel. In fact, we've had quite a lot of dragon content this year already. If you remember back in January, I made a video when LEGO released this guy, the Creator 3-in-1 Medieval Dragon, which is one of my favorite official LEGO dragon designs that we've gotten, and he makes an excellent green dragon for your campaign. But what if a green dragon isn't the color that you need? Well, today I'm going to show you how you can easily acquire all the pieces that you will need to make this exact dragon in any color you can imagine, or at least any color that LEGO can imagine and makes bricks in. Now, before your eyes glaze over at the thought of digging through all of your loose LEGO bins for every single one of the 700 some pieces that make up this dragon, don't worry, there is an easier way. And that way is the wonderful resource that is BrickLink. BrickLink is a website that I have mentioned from time to time on this channel, and I kind of assume that most of my viewers are familiar with it, but just in case you're not, today I'm going to give you a little primer on how you can use that site to order all of the pieces you'll need to make the medieval dragon in any color you like. So if you are already a BrickLink Power user or you're very familiar with this website, you can feel free to skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp right here on the screen, or you can stick around in case you have any other helpful tips to give. But if you are only vaguely familiar with BrickLink or have never used the site before, I'm going to show you today how to part out a set. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to search for Medieval Dragon. I have obviously recently searched for it, so it's right there. And here is the set we are looking for. It is 715 pieces, and here's various sets in new condition that are being resold by BrickLink users. But that's not what we're interested in right now. What we want to do is click on Part Out under My Wanted list here. So I'm going to click Part Out, and it's going to take us to this menu. It's already selected set and the set that we're on for us, and that we want the 715 pieces. You can check to include extras if you want, or the box or instructions if you want those, but the PDF instructions are of course available on LEGO's website, like with all LEGO sets, for free. So unless you really want a physical book and don't already have one, then you probably don't need to check that box. What we do want to do is create a new wanted list, and we'll go ahead and give it a name here. I will call it Medieval White Dragon. And we'll leave any condition. You can set this to new if you want, or used maybe might save you some money, but I'll just put any. And this box is default checked. So this basically is just going to be, if you want like 2 of the set, you can up this to 2 and it'll double everything. I don't know what situation you would uncheck this box for, but as it stands, it's going to part out all the pieces for us. So I'm going to submit for edit. Here's kind of a preview of what it's about to add. You can go through and exclude things or edit things here if you want. I will be removing some pieces from this because I'm not interested in getting a duplicate of the sort of treasure hoard that comes with it, so I can exclude this goblet. But the rest I'm going to do once I've already made the list, because it's just a little bit easier. So anyway, I can scroll down here. You can see all the pieces. It kind of lines them up. And at the very bottom is Add to Wanted List. So part out successful, it's made the list, and I can click here to view it. So now what I want to do is go through and make any changes that I want. Since I want to make a white dragon, I'm going to be changing a lot of the colors. And since I don't want that hoard of gold, I'm going to be removing some pieces here. So I have the instructions pulled up, and basically I can just go through and I'm going to find anything that we use in these boxes here up through this step right here, and I'm going to remove those. So like that includes these here, 2 of these. So this I will bring down to 1. One of them goes inside of the dragon's body, but 2 of them are for these stalagmites here, so we don't need those. These 2 plates are only part of that, so we don't need those either. And this here, we only need 1 of, because 1 of them goes to the treasure chest. We don't need either of these 2 dark red plates, and we don't need 2 of these angle pieces here because there's 2 used here. I have done a couple things here. When I edit quantities, I have to click Save Changes, but the things that I'm going to delete fully, I've selected here, and since I have several items selected, when I just hit this trash can, I will delete those selected items. I'm just going to move on through the pages here, looking for, here we go, the red section. I don't need either of these hinge pieces because those both go to the chest, and I don't need this piece or these 2 corners, so those should all be somewhere right here. I'm also going to remove this red barb and this rocket fin piece. These are from the barb that goes on the end of the tail, and I don't want my dragon to have a barb on the end of its tail because it's a white dragon. Their tails don't look like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. If you wanted that, you can leave it in. And I certainly don't need the Lego separator. I have a billion of those. All right, finally we have reached the gold section here. So I'm gonna go through here. I don't need that axle. I don't need these jewels, and I can look and see how many of each of these pieces we're using. Back on the first page here in black, we had these 2 hinges that I know we don't need. And these eyes here, they're for the phoenix, not the dragon, and they kind of get hidden inside the dragon build. So I'm not gonna use those. It'll just leave like a 2-stud gap in the dragon. It's not structural, it's not important. So I think that's everything from this treasure chest portion. We're going to get into the dragon build itself now, so let's look at changing the colors of things. Mostly we're going to be changing things that are green, but we're going to have some other things going on here too. For example, these bar holders with a handle, these go on the ends of the wings, and so I'm going to want those to be white as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select things that I want to change the color of. And so I'm going to start with these bars handles here. These L pieces here, these can be white. These rounded pieces here, these all should be part of the wings. So I'm going to want them to be white as well. This should be white. This inverted tile here can be white. So I'm going to select all of those, and then I'm going to go color. I'm going to hit W to get us all the way down to white and hit apply. Now, you might be tempted to do this all at once, but I kind of recommend not doing it all at once because the way the BrickLink interface works, if one piece isn't available in that color, the whole request will just fail, and then you're going to have to go through like piece by piece and try to figure out what it was that didn't work. So it's better to do small groups or things you know come in that color. So we're going to start with that, and now I'm actually going to refresh my page because every time I change the color of something, it will shift the list around to organize things by color. So I want to get all that white stuff off this page so that I can then see what's left here. Basically, everything that's in this bright green is also going to be white. So like this piece, this one, this will be white. Go ahead and grab this piece. This heart, this is actually not available in white. If I open this up here, you can see our known colors do not include white, but that is kind of an important part of the leg. So what we're going to actually have to do instead is replace that with a different piece. I'll just skip over it for now. This Technic plate with holes actually doesn't need to have the holes in it. It can just be a regular 2x8 plate, so that's up to you whether or not you want to switch it. But all of these green pieces here, I'm going to go ahead and color apply white to. Now we're getting into some dark green pieces here. These ones are all going to become white also. These I don't believe come in white either. I can double check on that. They do not, but I'm just going to use the dark bluish gray ones. So let me change these to white real quick. Here's another thing that can happen too when you're doing multiple items. So something that I have attempted to change to white, I've already changed to white, and when I hit apply, I get this only one item is allowed per thing. So for some reason, BrickLink can't like auto merge the things that I have in a different color. I think it is this tooth piece. I think I already made the lighter green one white. So if I deselect that, I think I can apply color white now. Color white. There we go, that worked. I'm gonna make this gray. And then since I can't really merge these, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete these 4. But I'm gonna remember that I need 4. I'm going to go ahead and find the teeth. There's 2 options, so here we go. We have one already in white, which is why that didn't work. So I'm going to bump this up to 5, and I'll save those changes. And now we have what we need there. I can go ahead and clear my search, and then we will carry on. Dark red is pieces of the wings, so guess what? Also going to become white, except for these here. We have these dark red pyramids, and these actually are spines that kind of go along the back of the dragon. So I want to make those not white. I want to make them tan, because I want all of the sort of horn pieces to show up as tan. So let me make these tan real quick. Boom. There we go. This piece is another one that is only available in a couple of colors. So since we can't get white, we're just going to go with dark bluish gray. I will set the color to that one, to dark bluish gray, and that'll be all right. It's a joint. It's mostly hidden inside the wing, so I think bluish gray is probably going to be the option you want to go with, unless you're making this into a red dragon. Then the red's probably fine. Now there are so many pieces here that need their color changed, so I'm not going to go through the whole process because this video is going to be long enough as is. Let me get pretty much everything that needs to be white changed to white, and then we'll come back. Okay, I think I got pretty much everything that needs to be white. I changed anything that was bright green, dark green, regular green, or sand green, dark red or regular red. All of those became white. Not every brick is going to become white though, and this lime green color is actually sort of the underbelly of the dragon, so for that, I'm going to turn all of these ones into light bluish gray. That's going to be my underbelly color. I mean, you don't have to go with that if that's not what you're feeling, but I feel like the white and gray will be a good white dragon color scheme, so that's what we're going to go with here. This is red, but obviously I didn't change these because these are Technic and they're fine the way they are. That magenta tile goes in the mouth, that's fine. All of this tan is pieces of like horns and claws and spikes, that can all stay. And then we get to our white section here. We have like a couple pages of white pieces. That is obviously the ones that we have the most of. Here, this yellowish green, these all go along the bottom of the dragon. I'm going to go ahead and do light bluish gray for that one too. And actually, I want to do the same thing for the ingots, and these plates will be hidden inside. And these pearl gold studs also kind of end up inside, so I'll go ahead and make those ones gray as well. Now this gold bar handle is actually part of the eyes. The very tip of the bar kind of forms the pupil of the eye. So for this dragon, the pupil is gold, and then you put a hollow stud on the outside that's a darker green. I want to do something different here. With the white dragon, the art usually has kind of ice bluish eyes, so that's what we're going to go with here. So I'm actually going to select a color called medium azure for this, which is kind of this bright blue. And then we're going to go back to these hollow studs here. So 2 of these are actually going to be for the eyes. So I'm going to open this in a new tab here. I'm going to bring this number down by 2. That'll leave us with 7. And then we want 2 of them to become blue for the eyes here. So I'm going to open this page here. I'm going to select blue. If you're not aware, this is how you add parts to the wanted list regularly, not from a part out menu. When you're in a BrickLink page, add to wanted list, select the wanted list you want, quantity 2, and add that. And now we see we have these 2 blue studs here like that. And now we have to deal with this heart-shaped piece. So we don't have hearts in white. These will be visible in the leg, and none of these colors are really working for me. Maybe black you could get away with, but I think there'd be a lot of contrast there because it's going to be against a lot of white scales. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to find a replacement piece. I am going to search for a plate, round 3x3. And we should get other options here. This is the heart one that we don't want, but this will actually work for what we're going for here. I'll just select white in that, and we need 4 of them. I'll go ahead and remove these hearts now, and I think that is everything that we wanted. So now that our list is complete, if we want to purchase this guy, all we have to do is click buy all, and then it will pull up the purchasing menu. Now, buying things from BrickLink all comes from independent stores like these ones here. People that are selling Legos, kind of just like Lego eBay. That's basically what BrickLink is. So there's not going to be a set market for things. Depending on when you do this, what people have in stock, the price that you can get what you need for is going to vary. If you get lucky and a store has a lot of what you need, that'll cut down on shipping because you're shipping from less stores, but it all depends. If it's broken up across more stores, you might have to pay more in shipping. You can also play around with these radio buttons here. You can select stores anywhere in the world or from a specific continent or country. I live in the States, so I usually try to ship from the US or at least North America because international shipping tends to be high, and also I get impatient waiting for things to ship overseas. But you might get a better deal on bricks, so it all balances out. You can kind of play around with things. I'll leave these as is for now. We are going to hit auto select to collect all of the pieces that are in our wanted list, and I am going to uncheck this radio box here. A lot of BrickLink stores have a minimum buy, so they don't want to ship an order unless you spend a certain amount of money, and I want to exclude stores where we only need 1 3-cent piece and their minimum buy is $3, because then I have to go into that store and add a bunch more bricks for the order to go through. You can do that if you want, then you just end up with extra Lego, but I'm going to uncheck that here and we're going to see what we get. I'll hit start and it's going to think for a second here. All right, and it's selected for us 3 stores here. We have 2 from the US and 1 from Canada. You can see a breakdown of how much everything costs. Obviously, most of the pieces are coming from this store here in Canada, so that's going to be the bulk of our cost. And then we have a few more here. We're totaling at $87 right now. The Green Dragon retails for $60, so that's, a little high. And you're also going to have to pay shipping. And if I was buying these ones here from Canada, I would have to pay probably a little more for international shipping. You can also edit what's in the cart, so I can check this one here. We only have 18 pieces and it's $23. So I'm going to see what's going on here and why things are so expensive. Okay, so I can see here we have these open studs. These blue open studs are coming back at $8 each. That is quite a lot. Is this piece ultra rare or something and I didn't realize? I see the problem. So apparently this blue only came in this one set with a hole in it. So that is a little unfortunate. That means it's going to be quite rare and probably expensive. You can see here, if you go to color info under a brick, how many sets contain a brick in that color. So that's kind of unfortunate. The light translucent blue is much more common, and so probably would be a lot cheaper. So you might want to consider changing the color of that. That might get your cost down. In fact, let's see what happens if we do that. I will select the translucent light blue, add 2 of those, and let's auto select stores again and see if we get a little better deal. All right, that is significantly better, actually. So we have still 2 US stores and a Canada store. It's kind of rearranged what's coming from where based on the inventory of these stores, but it looks like our total is now down to 61. So that's a good improvement. We're still shipping from 3 stores, so we're still going to pay 3 shipping fees. If it had added a 4th, it might not have been worth it necessarily. And yeah, you can see this piece here, the translucent blue one, is 4 cents versus $8. Yeah, that's going to be a lot better. Anything with rare colors like that, you're going to want to be careful of. So if I'm happy with this cost, I can go ahead and create my carts and then follow through with the checkout process. But if that's still more than you're willing to pay for things, you can always take your wanted list here and start going through your own part collection and digging out pieces you already have, setting those aside, and then you can remove those from the list and not have to pay for them. So if you already have a bunch of pieces, that could end up saving you some money. But that's how you use the part out feature on BrickLink. You can do this with any set, and you can change any of the colors here you want. One shipping montage later, and all of my BrickLink orders have arrived. Now, my next step before I start building is I'm going to go through all of these pieces and take an inventory. Each BrickLink order comes with an invoice. Seems like most people print them out and stick them in the box, but it's always available on the website. And I just want to cross-reference what's in these boxes to make sure that I'm not missing any pieces, because if I am, the shops are going to want to know about that. It's a bit of a time-consuming process sorting through all of these bricks and counting each one, but I find that it's less frustrating to know ahead of time I have everything I need than be in the middle of the build and suddenly can't find the piece that I'm looking for. And I also want to make sure that I'm a good BrickLink consumer and I leave helpful feedback to the shops that I buy from. Well, now that all the pieces are inventoried, I can go ahead and start building. I'm not going to give you a step-by-step breakdown of this process because I'm literally just going to be following these instructions, albeit on a slightly higher difficulty level than normal because the colors aren't quite going to match. So, in the interest of time, let's take these and this and make this. Here is our medieval dragon in white. This white with a gray underbelly scheme looks really cool, just like I hoped it would. And the great part is you can do this for any color LEGO makes as long as the pieces you're looking for come in that color. If I wanted a blue dragon, for example, all I would have to do is change all of the white pieces to blue, maybe make the underbelly a nice yellow or pearl gold, maybe tan, red, black, any of the chromatic dragons you could do easily. If you're wanting to do a metallic dragon, you might have a little more trouble. You could probably make silver work. You could use this light bluish gray color for the whole body and then accent it with some silver pieces. So I think that one would work. Gold, brass, those ones you'll just have to see what you have access to in pearl gold, and you probably have to use something else as an undertone, maybe tan, or if you're going for like brass or bronze, maybe a sand green undertone with the pearl gold on top. If you're looking to do some crystal dragons like this bad boy on the cover of Fizzbands, you could see what pieces are available in some of the translucent colors like magenta, like translucent purple for an amethyst dragon. But if it's the white dragon that you're looking for, I'll save you some time assembling your own wanted list on BrickLink by linking mine in the description down below. There will be both a PDF and an XML format that you can upload to BrickLink in order to have a copy for yourself. Now, if you're going to be a design stickler and say, hey, that looks great, but the shape of the horns doesn't really match a 5e white dragon, never fear, we can fix that with the addition of literally 4 pieces. So if we want this guy to have a single horn going out the back, all we have to do is remove a few pieces and add a couple others. We're going to start with the existing horns here. Those will be no more. And these 2 horns, I'm just going to leave as is. You could remove them if you feel so inclined. Next, I'm just going to pop off this double slope here, this round jumper at the back, and this 1x2 jumper in the middle. I'll replace that with a smooth tile, and I'll replace the front with a 1x2 slope, and then I'll take that jumper that I removed and move it back to cover these 2 studs here, and add a clip where I can install my horn. Now I think there is still one more thing this dragon needs, and that is a breath weapon. You could rotate this front tooth and attach one of these frosty blue flames to form your icy breath weapon, but I think we can do a little bit better than that. I'm going to start with one of these 1x1 snot bricks with studs on all 4 sides in blue to match the ice, and on top of that I'm going to stack a translucent blue cylinder. Then on 3 sides I'm going to place these translucent 1x2 tiles. I'm going to stagger them slightly and put them at odd angles because I want it to look like ice shooting out. Then on the back, I'm going to take this 1x4 tile and attach the front to this open stud here. And then on the back, I'm going to take one of these translucent studs with a bar handle on the bottom and clip it onto my tile. Then I'm going to take this minifig power blast and I'm going to stick the bar pin into the end of that stud there. I'll take a translucent blue stud with a hole through it and place that on the other end where I can attach this blue translucent crystal piece. And then I'll finish it up with this icy blue power blast stuck right in the end of that crystal. This translucent bar at the back will clip right into the back teeth of the dragon, and just like that, he has a blast of frosty breath coming right out of his mouth. So now we have this amazing LEGO white dragon, but before we can throw it at our players, we need a location to set that encounter, and where better than a dragon's lair. Since this video is already long enough, I will be constructing said lair in part 2, which I will be dropping tomorrow, same dragon time, same dragon dragon channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And in the meantime, be sure to check out the Dragon Week playlist to see what all of the other amazing D&D YouTubers out there have come up with for this amazing event. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, let me know in the comments down below what creature you think I should build next.